There are not a lot of coaches that have the receipts of building a business, a true business. Most of them, and I hate to say this, is the first business they're building is their coaching business.
If you have no receipts, there's no reason why you should be mentoring me.
Hi, Madeline.
Hi. So guess what? Today is one of my favorite topics.
Do tell.
It is about the coaching industry and how it's going crazy and not in the best way.
Elaborate.
Okay, and here we go. Have you noticed the surge of identifying themselves as now mentors rather than coaches? Have you noticed that?
I've been seeing something about it, which is an amazing change, right? Because mentors meant something to me, and not every coach has, I think, the stripes, so to speak, to be a mentor. But tell me what you're thinking.
So, I have been seeing that a lot. And one of the things that I find that it's unacceptable, if you ask me, is, first of all, the reason why they're doing it is because of the saturation of that specific industry, right? And so I'm like, seriously, do we not even know what a mentor is versus a coach? Because a mentor has earned its stripes. A coach hasn't. A coach is a totally different dynamic. What do you think a coach is?
Well, when I think of coaching, I think of coaching in two ways. But in most of the business professional industry, not athletics, not sports type stuff, right? I think of a coach as an accountability person, a person that you work with, you establish goals and objectives or projects that you want to work on. You establish, not the coach, this is you, the individual, establish, I want to do this by then. And if I'm going to do that, I need to do these things. And the good coach is saying, great, let's get you mapped out, right? And let's make sure you're hitting and achieving those benchmarks, right? So to me, coaching is all about accountability in today's speak, right? It used to be that a coach would teach a skill, right? And then hold them accountable to use it. Now, it's basically what most people are being trained, which that's my big part that I don't like about the coaching industry, is we got a lot of people being trained to be coaches, but they've never done anything.
Yeah, I think for me, that triggers me the most is the cookie cutting thing, right? The empty promises on the framework that don't work and they're not tested. The second one is, this is my favorite, raise your prices, you're worth it. Oh my gosh, really? And then go out and manifest. Really?
Well, I think you probably should do that anyway. But that's not a business strategy. And so I think I know the raising of the prices does trigger you because. Well, I always look at this, and somebody the other day said this to us. Well, I was told I should just raise my prices, and I said, "How'd you get to that?" And the funny thing is, well, the person I was working with said, and basically backed in to the number. They asked me, how much do you want to make? I said, I'd like to make this. How often do you want to work? Okay, how many clients can you bring on? Great. Simple math. You need to charge this. But my question to that person was really simple. How many people do you have that are either A, paying that now, or B, do you think you have that are willing to pay you that? And more importantly, do you have capacity? Right? Because if you have excess capacity.
But that's from a retail perspective, right?
No, that's
overall.
Overall.
Yeah.
In any model, right, you have to look at it this way. If I can garner a higher price, right, it's usually because of a scarcity factor, right? You look at the best attorneys in the world. They become scarce because they did something great, and now they're getting hired more, and now they can be choosy, right? They can be more selective on what they want, and they can garner a higher price per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Well, coaching is no different. You don't necessarily say, oh, I'm not coaching anybody today, but I'm going to be worth $25,000 an hour. Okay, well, if you have somebody that's going to pay you $25,000 an hour, how many of those people are out there that are going to pay you $25,000 an hour? And I know that's an astronomical number, but I want it to resonate with people. When you put an unrealistic number out in the marketplace, two things are going to happen. You either have customers currently, no matter what product or service you're selling, they're going to say, you know what, it's no longer of value to me. And you're going to lose them. And then you're going to find every time you raise your price, the general population of people that are willing to going forward pay it reduces. When I bring up capacity is, okay, yeah, if you can get paid top dollar for one client, but one client is probably, for the average person that's a coach out there, is not going to pay them enough to support any form of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather work a little bit more, maybe charge a little less than what my astronomical number is, fill my bucket, get more dollars, right?
Yeah.
Now I have proven credibility. I have success stories. I have things going in my favor that I can logically increase my pricing.
Right.
I love when people say, I'm going to just charge more because some coach told me. And I'm like...
And that creates a very danger zone, because what you're fostering is a mentality of mediocrity along with that.
Yeah. And when you do that, you're basically, why do so many coaches say, I'm not making anything, right? Because one, they're starting from a positioning that they are at somebody else's middle or higher level of expertise. Two, let's truly break down the coaching industry in the professional spaces. There are not a lot of coaches that have the receipts of building a business, a true business. Most of them, and I hate to say this, is the first business they're building is their coaching business.
Right.
So they can be super good at marketing. They can be super good at ads, right? And they can drive a lot of attention. But you still need to be able to have credibility, and somebody has to say, okay, other than, and you put this using somebody else's template of saying, here's how you should position this, right? Listen, here's a template we can use. However, as we go through this, we're going to convert it for you. That's coaching somebody to a next level, right? And that's why I always think, and I wanted to talk about this because back in the day, there were coaches, there were consultants, and there were strategists.
And mentors.
And mentors.
Right.
Right? But in this space, a mentor is not a coach.
No.
A mentor does coach, but they are not just a coach.
Right. And so the audience can understand how important this is and how they can mitigate the red flags of a fake mentor. I mean, for me, if you have no receipts, there's no reason why you should be mentoring me. Ego-driven content, you could see it these days. Everything is ChatGPT, and you can read and feel their ego on that in that communication. The vagueness, right? The vagueness is everything sounds deep, but it leads to nothing. And overcoaching and under experience.
Yeah, and I think
those are the four things that I find that they're the red flags for these up and coming mentors.
So those are the red flags. What is one word you would use to discuss a coach in reference to a coach and a mentor?
Well, first of all, a coach is transactional. A mentor is transformational.
Yeah, and that's a powerful word, right?
Yeah.
Transformation. What we strive to do is, because we have built businesses, we've been involved with different types of businesses.
Yes.
Is we're looking not to just, in literally, I don't necessarily care what they call me, right? As long as I'm adding value to their life and their
Right.
business, and I'm helping them. And what we try to do is transform where they are today to a better tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And I look at it in so many different ways because, not everybody can be a mentor for everybody,
No.
right? And I look at mentors, you can have mentors in different forms, right? And in different ways of having a relationship with someone. I remember at the fitness studio, you had two people. I mean, I think we hired one, not as that, but we hired their company. And then the other was somebody you just listened to their podcast.
And I've had a lot of mentors like that, I've gone in the industries that I was not an expert. And because I didn't know, coaching at the time when the fitness studio wasn't as popular. So I didn't know to hire one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, because the first business, we didn't hire one, we just literally bootstrapped that one. And we really got really good at doing, DIY. And so, but then the second one we knew, but the coaching thing wasn't a thing, but podcasting was starting to be big, and people that have done it already and they were successful at it. They were my mentors. Those are the people that I listened to because I knew that they had some sort of success. And I did follow their methodology and it did work for me. But you have to know exactly who do you want to mirror. So like today in leadership, one of my most, I even got excited when I went and I saw him this year. Was it this year or last year? John Maxwell.
This year.
Was it this year? Yeah. And I took a picture with him and I just read most of his books I've read, and I really, really love how he leads, right? So he's my mentor. Mentors don't necessarily have to be in the room with you.
Right.
You choose who aligns with your value system to be able to pick if that mentor does align. And there's 4 things that at the end of this segment, we will talk about in how I choose a mentor for me, whether that's a book that I want to read, whether that is a podcast that I want to listen to, or somebody in person.
Yeah. Well, and I think, when you look at mentors too, and I was just thinking about this, is they may be involved in a space of your business.
Mm-hmm.
They're just one product or one service or one part of the marketing, and you work with them, right? But if they take on the opportunity to, you're contracting them out, they're providing a service, but if they take the moment that they're going to not only teach you something, I mean, they're not going to just provide, they're going to teach you something, and they're going to show you, how to do it and why it's better to do it in a certain way because they've proven through their history. And so a lot of that too is when you hire the right companies to support your business and you hire the right people involved, they can become mentors in a specific channel of your business. And you know what? Takes the world off me. I'm not paying them another coach or consultant or strategist, right? I'm actually having somebody help me better understand. And we did this with social media a lot, right? Where we made, and we've talked about this in the past, where we just made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake of hiring the wrong company. And then we found the right guy. And that person took us under his wing and he said, I am going to get you beyond your fears of what we do because I'm going to prove to you there are really good people in this industry that really care about results. And yes, my bottom line will increase because you're my client, but your bottom line is going to increase as well.
Right.
And when people take that on,
it's a partnership.
It really is a partnership. And that to me, because that was one of the biggest things we struggled with the fitness studio. We talked about it. We could not figure out the marketing component. We had a great product. We delivered a phenomenal experience, but our messaging was not
Yeah,
spot on.
that's true too. Remember, we talked about this recently too, where we were messaging, but we were messaging and bringing the wrong people, not the people that we wanted.
Yeah.
It really works that when you really do it right. And boy, have we learned so much over the years
Yeah.
since that experience. Because our first business, we didn't have to market anything. It was the customer experience that we did it without even knowing that was what it was really truly needed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes a difference. It really does.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is, when people are looking at, and we've said it a couple of times about, if you're going to hire somebody to help you build, launch, grow, scale your business, depending on what section it is, you have to find people that have that experience, that they've at least done it, right? Because to your point, I remember, and I, like a lot of people, I wanted initially to dabble, and I said, I like teaching. I want to do this. And I signed up for a program. And I remember at the end of taking the program, I said, wow, that program is great. This guy really knows how to sell the program. I'm not sure he taught me how to be a better coach.
Yeah.
What he taught me was how to sell a program. And I was like, that's not going to get me coaching clients necessarily, right? Or that. And then I realized, listen, I have the experience. We have the experience. And what's our number one objective and what's our number one goal? It's to help people not do the same things we did,
Right.
or to help them avoid pitfalls that we see. And to me, if I learned one thing, is you can find a place that's going to sell you something, but unless they're really offering you a tool that's going to help you and grow your business. I will use you as an example. I mean, you're internationally certified in so many things, but you took a whole course and program. I think it was a year long on, it was so much more than mindset. It offered hypnotherapy. It offered all these different things, but out of it came the mindset dimension report, right? Which is a real tool that in the right hands that not anybody can get. You have to go through this year-long program. You have to certify through it. And I remember you going through it. It was painstaking.
Yeah.
And, and these courses, guys, were not like recorded. They were live.
They were live.
And then you had to take notes. I remember you would sitting there and you were working.
Books and books of notes.
And to me, they provided you a tool.
Yeah.
With the opportunity to grow your business in that space that you wanted to be working. And I think that's huge, right?
That year, it's funny you say that, because I remember taking 3 different coaching certifications, and they're all very, very long. I do remember one specifically that, it was a 90-day program. While it was a little bit chaotic, she really taught how to really understand coaching and how to really deliver a good transformation. Unfortunately, the experience wasn't great, but the content was good. The content was really good. It taught me how to use acronyms and how to develop frameworks that actually work. That's how I was able to develop my Vesta program. And it was, it was pretty good. It was very academia. And I felt like I was going through a master program. I did a lot of writing and a lot of reflection and, coaching outside of, mentorship outside of United States. And it was really good. So we can call ourselves international certified coaches. But there's a lot of programs out there that promises a lot of different things, and it really doesn't deliver on what you need. And so I caution people to really, really take it serious, because you're dealing with people's livelihood, and that's not to be taken lightly if you really want to deliver a transformation, and not just a transactional thing. So for me, is there anything else that?
No, I think that, I'd like for you to kind of go where you said earlier that you wanted to kind of let people know what your what you look at for selection
and I did
criteria.
make the little note here because I think it's important. I don't want to, this is very critical for me. So how I choose a mentor, it's an alignment test, right? Is that person aligned with my value system, right? I mean, everything I do, every choice I make, every connection, every interaction has to align with my value system. If it doesn't, I'm not going to do it. Track record. That person has a proven record. Have they done it before and have they done it better than me?
Ooh.
Listen, I struggle finding good mentorship because I've done it and I've done it in a big way. And so who can do it better than me?
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. Vulnerability. Do they share lessons from their failures or just highlight reels? There's a lot of that going on, right? And I know that we do a really good job, or our producer does a really good job putting highlight reels out there for us, but that's not what we're about, right? We are really about substance and energy. Does that mentor stretches you when you are having that discussion with them? Is it making you grow?
Mm.
Is it making you uncomfortable? Because that's where we grow, right? In the discomfort. So if those 4 things help you validate what you're looking for, then it's your right mentor. It's the right mentor for you.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, Madeline. And, I'm glad you added a little bit extra on that. I think the key thing for anybody that is working with you that's, being paid to help you achieve a new level, they have to stretch, they have to challenge. And you know what I don't want to hear is, I don't want to hear that, well, it's okay. They need to be firm with you. They need to make, if they set up and you guys establish a routine, you don't get to skip. Mm-hmm. If you set up, hey, I'm going to have this done by this, that's when it's done. And they got to hold you accountable, yes. But when you really are working with somebody, they got to push you to a level that if they weren't there, that's why you didn't get there. That's because they weren't there. Mm-hmm. So they got to get you to that level. And I think that a lot of times what I would only add is that if they don't ask you what your real objective and real goal is, mm-hmm. and if it's unrealistic, they should tell you. If it's realistic, they should say you can do more. But they have to benchmark where you're going to go. Because one of the things that all people see is the other person's potential. Mm-hmm. What we don't necessarily see is our own potential. Mm-hmm. That's why we hire strong coaches, strong mentors. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't care what you call them, but know what you're getting when you do hire them.
And know the difference.
Yeah.
Know the difference, right? Because again, now, here we are masking what I am, because I know now that the market is saturated. So I'm not going to call myself that. I'm going to distance myself from that word. That's like a bad word right now. And I'm going to call myself something else, but that something else is completely different than what you need.
Yep, absolutely.
And they don't even meet that. So
absolutely. So I think that while we don't generally get on rants all the time, I think this is a really good topic, because whether you're looking to hire us or you're looking to hire somebody else, it doesn't really matter. You need to know what you're looking for. You need to have real established goals and objectives on where you want that person to help you get to. Mm-hmm. And you need to know the difference between a coach, a consultant, a strategist, and a mentor, because they're not all the same thing. And with that, I think this was a great conversation. Thanks for having it. And guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something valuable out of it. And until next time, we'll see you soon.
Let's get to work.